Honestly, I don't know what to say with this Cody and Randy WrestleMania feud. It's kind of too early to say, but they got some time to cook up a story. But if y'all remember, Cody and Randy already fought at King of the Ring. It was either King of the Ring or Crown Jewel. One of those. And it was forgettable. Very forgettable. I want to say Crown Jewel. Not 100% sure, but no. It was King of the Ring. And the match was okay. This is where they should have kept it up. Because if you remember, you was going to either have Randy kind of turn heel, or you was going to have Cody kind of turn heel. Now, what they could have done was have Cody kind of do heelish stuff. And then when that feud with Drew McIntyre came around, have Cody kind of do heelish stuff. Like, just keep Cody doing the little heelish stuff. So by the time you come around here to Mania, you could have full-blown turned Cody heel. Now, Triple H doesn't want to turn Cody heel. And I understand that. But you should have turned Cody, honestly, you should have turned Cody heel with the Rock story. And then, because you have John Cena. You had John Cena that would have been that baby face of the company that was leaving. Cody could have turned heel for that 1 year. You got Cody heel, Naomi heel. That would have, man, that story Naomi cooked up. Plus you would have had Cody heel. WWE would have, Lord. Man, WWE would have made record-breaking, like, that would have been good story. That would have made up for all that nonsense stuff they was doing. But now you don't know what to do. You cannot have face versus face. Like, WWE thinks face versus face is some kind of like awesome thing. Is not. Like, the only thing to do is turn Randy heel. That's the only thing you could do, is turn Randy heel at this point. You can't turn Randy. I mean, Randy is already face. Cody doesn't have enough time to develop a story to turn heel unless it comes out that, he attacked Jacob Fatu, and maybe have him, I don't know, do some heelish stuff. But, I mean, it got to be major heelish stuff. Because other than that, there's no story. And if you want to do that, go that teacher versus student route, you can do that, but that's a elongated story with layers that needs to be told. Do they have enough time to tell that? Not the way WWE is writing stuff. I mean, you can tell it, but I mean, we're talking about dedicating like 3 segments of SmackDown to it, like a beginning, middle, and end. You can't just say one thing on SmackDown and then next week one thing, next week one thing. Nah, you need like 3 or 4 things to happen during a show to flush that storyline down. So that, unless they're going to take this from WrestleMania and elongate it to SummerSlam payoff. But you got to think, it's hard to pay it off with the SummerSlams and the WrestleManias, because You have things like Crown Jewel. You have things like King of the Ring. You have Elimination Chamber. You have Royal Rumble. You know, the same people would have to win this type of stuff. Unless you give Randy... Unless Randy gets that belt at WrestleMania as a heel and carries that belt all the way to SummerSlam. Okay. Now remember, Randy's heel. You know, are you going to have him fight Cody, like, again at SummerSlam? It's like, bruh, like, the story has to be there. That's all I'm saying. To make this worthwhile, the story has to be there. I understand you need to get Cody to WrestleMania. And they want Cody in the title picture. But you had no story. You might as well do Cody, you know, versus Jacob. And do not throw this in a fatal 4-way. Like, you can do that for like Clash in Paris or something, wherever they're going. You know, Backlash. But I mean, that sounds stupid. You know, you could have had Cody face Jacob, which, you know, that would have seemed like a face versus face, but Jacob is like a Vegeta or whatever. He's like an anti-hero, which they was going at it. You know, you had Cody versus Jacob, and they never finished because they want to do this 50-50 booking stupid stuff. You know, I would have gave him, I know y'all sick of street fights, but maybe I would have threw a cage in there. I mean, you could have had Cody versus Jacob. You could have let Jacob lose. Jacob just happy to be at WrestleMania. You could have had Jacob versus Cody at WrestleMania in a street fight, a cage match. You know, if you really wanted to build that story up, Hell in a Cell at WrestleMania. You know, if, man, like Jacob, you caused Cody to go down, you know, this spiraling thing where, okay, he had Drew in the cage match, and Jacob, you interfered. Y'all fought again. Drew McIntyre interfered. You know, Drew McIntyre cost Cody the win at Elimination Chamber. Okay. Now, Cody's thinking back like, damn, like, Jacob, you caused all this. You know, they start fighting, they start attacking. Man, like, okay, Jacob, it's time for this push. We gonna put you with Cody versus Jacob. You know, they can keep fighting on SmackDown and stuff, and then boom, you know, y'all sick of it. Boom, send them to Hell in a Cell, WrestleMania.